Hello guys, you okay? Red Pill Phil. Hope you're doing well. Thank you to all new subscribers. Thank you for sharing, thank you for all your positivity and your messages and your comments and whatnot. Really does mean a lot, thank you. Okay, right, I'm kind of dressed like this because in the plot that I'm in at the moment there's not much heating or light. So the time of year that we got, it's kind of just above what you would regard as a technical freezing temperature. So it's just enough to kind of keep the people like me working, but my toes would somehow disagree at this moment in time. So that's why I kind of got my hood up and I could probably see my breath. It's kind of one of them environments, so it's not the most comfortable by any means, but hey ho, as they say, wife needs clothes, baby needs shoes. So you've got to keep it going. So hope you're alright anyway. The reason why I'm doing this video is during the Sunderland march, which was the Justice for Chelsea march, in October the 14th, I do believe it was. I actually went up and filmed the march. There was a lady I'd met there, to be honest, I'd met her previously in Sunderland at the first Justice for Chelsea march. I met her again on the 2nd, which was the one October the 14th. And I recently came across her at the Tommy Robinson book launch in Manchester. She's a lady that's travelled from down south, and she come up, obviously we had a really good chat, this, that and the other, and this, that and the other. So I go home after the Tommy march, this, that and the other, go about my business. She contacts me out of the blue a couple of days ago. So we're talking, what, best part of 2 weeks since the Tommy march. Now, this lady's a lovely lady. So, bottom line is, this lady gets a letter hand delivered, okay, to her by a local police constabulary, which I think it comes under Norfolk Police, okay? Now this hand-delivered letter was not sealed, okay? Now, I'm not 100% sure, but that's what this lady said to me. Now, when she means not sealed, I couldn't honestly say whether she means it was attempted to have been sealed and it come undone, or there was no attempt whatsoever to seal it and it was just literally an open envelope. I'm surmising it's the latter because she didn't indicate any other way really. So that was delivered by a policeman, a local policeman, who was somewhat excited by the letter once he presented it to the lady. And then, just out of sheer curiosity, you could say being a bit nosy, he proceeded to say, oh, what's all this about then? Yeah? So, I'm not sure how that conversation transpired too much, but she basically opens the letter and she finds out that it's Norfolk Police letterheading, crest, on a piece of paper. It's also got her name, it's addressed to her, this, that and the other. And it's basically mentioning that there's a police, a DC such or other, I'm not going to mention the person's name, that has basically understood that her husband, so he's not directly talking about her now, her husband was at a march in Sunderland in October, on October the 14th. So it doesn't say too much from that, apart from, can you get in touch with me, because I want to talk to you about it, basically. Now, I'll show the letter in the actual clip, and you can see for yourself the way it's worded. Nice and polite, nothing, you know, draconian at this point. Now, bear in mind, this lady has had the right to freely assemble anywhere she pissing likes, as long as it's lawful. And this lady, from the position of her house to where she assembled, you're talking like 230 miles. So I don't see what Norfolk Police should have an issue about, first of all. Now, this lady has kind of intimated that they have possibly got the details through the car, because they've driven up in the car. So maybe the car is registered in the husband's name, and, you know, it maybe has been caught on various cameras travelling in and around. So I have no idea. We're talking about how the surveillance works. But I'm surmising it's something along them lines. Now, my point is, unless that car was involved in a crime, then what issue? Now, in this letter, it doesn't mention anything about the car, or the car being involved in a crime. So to me, this letter clearly doesn't state the intention for the query. Now, the only intention and the only query they mention is the fact that they were at a march, which was a legal march, a right to assemble, a right to air your grievances. That's the only point they actually brought up in it all. Now, to me, that is not justified for the police to warrant questioning. Even if they was to knock on your front door and ask you that question, they haven't got the right, because you had the right to assemble. You've not broken the law in any way. Unless they make it apparent, I'm not a lawyer by any means, I'm a frigging painter and decorator, you can see what I'm doing. But unless I would have liked to think the law applies like this, unless they've got reasons to suspect either your car was involved in a crime, or you witnessed some form of crime, or your name was mentioned in some form of crime, they've got no reason to come basically and send their merry men to come and find you located 230 miles away. I don't get that logic. I kind of see that as somewhat of an encroachment. Now, maybe I'm a bit premature with this video, because at the point of me making this video, the lady in question has not got back to me to say, oh well, you know, my husband run the police, and it turned out that I left my purse on a wheeler bin in Sunderland town centre. You know, it might be something as innocent as that. So, you know, I might be kind of jumping the gun here. I don't want to be kind of accused of fear porn by any means. But I must admit, from what information has been presented to me, I don't get that conclusion at all. Particularly what's been generated at the moment with anyone who attends marches is regarded as far right, is regarded as extremists, as racist, as bigots. Even if you're of a different colour, it doesn't matter, you still fall into that category. So it makes you question what were the police motives behind this. They've left a number and an email address for the husband to contact this DC in regards to what they were doing at this march. Now, my personal feelings is, I can't speak for this lady. I've spoken to this lady on a few occasions, and she strongly comes across to me as the kind of lady that doesn't take any shit from anybody. But she's a very nice lady. She's well informed, very articulate, and she does not mess about, you know? And that's the kind of ladies that I love, I really do. A lady that's got a brain in her head, but at the same time, don't mess me about, you know? And that's how everyone should be, whether you're male or female. So, I love this lady's character. Her husband's absolutely brilliant. I spoke to him in Manchester as well. So, I know that this probably won't carry too much weight with this lady, and I know she will do everything to fight this, as in to say what the... Now, I can only look at it through my perspective, and through my perspective, my first question would be, pardon my French, but Mr. DC Blobby, what the fuck has it got to do with you, what I was doing on the 14th of August in Sunderland? Even though I was attending a march, I was there lawfully, no crime has been committed, unless you actually intimate within this letter that I have created a crime, been, you know, witness to a crime, partakes in a crime. You know, if I was driving a car, which I wasn't, if I was driving a car, if that car was involved in an offence, if I crash, hit and run, there's all manner of things that they've got the legitimacy to kind of say, we want to speak to you. They didn't say none of that. So on the premise of such a small amount of words, you attended a march in Sunderland on the 14th of October. They think they've got validity to now start knocking on your door. Where's the logic in that? That was a law-abiding assembly. So what are they doing? Is this the fear tactics that are coming out now? You know, the intimidation? That's what it seems like to me. Seems like intimidation tactics. Where do we go from here? You know, people often say, oh, the police state's here, we're in the police state, and, you know, the average person won't really recognise that because they're believing the hype that we're living in this climate of fear, which is being perpetrated by the media and by the elites. So by very nature, the encroachment of the so-called police state, some people feel justified because of the so-called world we're living in. They don't see how that world we're living in is kind of a manufactured kind of matrix world of perpetual fear that's being orchestrated on us all the time. So by very nature, you can encroach the totalitarian tiptoe if you keep perpetuating a level of fear on people, because people are going to be shit scared and they want to be protected. So they don't see it from that angle. Now, they can create all the climate of fear they want about the far right and this, that and the other. But when you're talking about average people that just attending marches and just going about their business and then coming home and then still just going about their law-abiding lives, where do they get off doing that? Surely Norfolk police have got bigger issues to worry about. You know? With the amount of shit that's being perpetrated against our country on social media by certain peoples, openly professing to it, openly condemning our country, and they're not the people that they want to be sending these letters to. You know? What the piss in hell is going on? It's almost like the Minority Report is starting to live out. play out right in front of us. I mean, is this all an element of thought crime? You know? What law has been broke to justify? You know? Now, like I said, this lady in question, I know she's a strong character, so I know she will give back as good as she will get all day long. And I'm buzzing because I can't wait to hear how she's going to do it. And I hope she films it, or, you know, records it audibly or whatever, because it'll be frigging legendary, I know that. But if this letter was to have been hand-delivered to maybe someone of not as strong a character, who's a bit more timid in nature, who maybe for the first time decided that they wanted to travel out to a march because they believed in the points that were being brought up at that march, and they are no way any more racist than anybody else. They truly want diversity, but they can see a lot of disparaging things going on, so by very nature you have got the right to freely assemble. So she, you know, this other lady, whether it be a lady or a man, it could be a man of similar kind of temperament, who's kind of just a nice chilled out guy, but is a person who listens to authority. You get a letter of that nature, it's not out and out threatening you in any way, it's a lovely polite letter. But that's just like gangsters just coming in and politely telling you that if you know, if you don't pay your taxes, certain things are going to happen to you. It's a further demonstration again of the police being used as a tool to kind of silence dissent in any way. Even though by attending a march that is legal, even though when you've not committed any crime, dissent is a strong word to use. So that tells you that the agenda is that they want to quash any of this as much as possible. They want to use the media to demonise anyone who attends this march as far-right extremists. And then once they've done that and sowed the seed out to the average person that you are a frigging Hitler if you even think about attending one of these marches, if you do decide that you've got the balls to go to one of these marches, we're going to send our little minions out in the shape of our police that we pay for with our tax money. Yeah? And we're going to politely remind you again that what you're doing is wrong. So stop fucking doing it. And that's what I interpret from this letter. Now, I'm sure there's been many instances where this lady, just like everyone else across this country, where I would have loved to have got a letter from the police because I have complained to the police about various issues. Do I ever get a letter back? Do I fuck? Do I ever get a phone call back, a follow-up phone call? No. If it means ticking a certain box off, I'll get a call back. But when it comes to actually genuinely caring about the issue in hand and actually wanting to resolve it, they could not give two shits. But yet, if I am concerned about what is going on in this country and I see someone is trying to organise a march to attend to talk about these issues because nobody else is, and yet I do that, I'm demonised for it, and then I'm demonised, and then the minions come out, scaring me. So it's obvious, the average person is going to be scared stiff. The average person is not going to want a second letter. It's going to take a remarkable character to go, you know what, you're taking the piss. You are taking the piss. I mean, what about it being an open letter? What is that all about? Surely that is a private correspondence. For fuck's sake, how many people could have written, copied any details from that letter, read it, sent it on, passed it around, you know? Now they've got the tools to be able to look up details of this person in question. They've got the means to be able to get the car registration. So for all intents and purposes now, everyone in that police station, I wouldn't say could target this family or these people, but who knows? You might be travelling down the road, just go to the shop, picking up a loaf of bread, he just gets pulled up. I'm not suggesting that is going to happen, but I'm suggesting the likelihood of that happening is far higher now when you're giving out letters that are open. What are you doing that for? If you do want to correspond with me, even if I do think you bang out of order for even sending me a letter, at least seal the fucking thing. That is disgusting. That is like almost doxing him. At the same time, try to be authoritative over it, you know. I'm going to use my sheer authoritative power to silence you. But not only that, I've exposed you at the same time. Disgusting. Disgusting. So there's probably a hell of a lot more points, but the more I'm talking about it, the more you can see. This is out of order. And this can happen to anybody, and probably will happen to a lot more people. Getting that knock just because you've attended. One of my fellow YouTubers, Great Brit, reposted the original clip with me and Peter Sweden. Where I was with the Antifa lady at the Manchester March. Everyone knows about it, I don't have to keep going on about it. But in one of the comments, one of the people mentioned, they were unaware that I read the comment, they just, you know, made a genuine comment about the re-upload. And they said, oh yeah, I remember this clip because when I forwarded this clip, when it come out, I got suspended from work. Just for forwarding a clip. This is the climate. The Gestapo hunting people down, doxing them, banning them. This is the climate that's being built. When we're talking normal people, I'm all up for this treatment if we are talking extreme arsewipes that you do want to remove from society. I am all on that. Even though they have got freedoms as well. But if the greater good comes out of it, then you can concede. But when you're just henpecking people that just want to do the right thing, knowing that you're using it as an intimidation tactic, that is wrong and it's bang out of order. And that's why I'm kind of talking about it now. Who knows, at some point it's going to come on me, doing all this. But at some point we've got to speak about this. This is wrong. So this is Red Pill Phil freezing me nuts off. Steel toe caps on that are kind of making me feet an ecosystem that feels like it's 20 below. Breathing condensation all over the place. Paint freezing as I'm applying it. And I just can't wait to get home. Because it's Friday. So, like and subscribe, guys. Very unorthodox way of filming videos, but I'm just pretty pissed. I just hope I'll get an update, because if I do get an update, I will kind of let you all know. So, Red Pill Phil, like and subscribe. Hope you resonate. Thank you all and stay safe. See you later. And watch them frigging Gestapo.